All right, guys, what's going on? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And so the word on the internets implies that Advanced Warfare 2 will be the next game that Sledgehammer Games is going to be making, and it's going to be coming out in 2025, I believe. So, which is the game right after Treyarch's game. So, I have a few thoughts about that. So let's get right into it. Now, first and foremost, I actually do not have any problems with Advanced Warfare, actually. Now, I know a lot of people do, and yet at the same time, there's also a lot of people that don't. And one thing I got to say is for those people that, if this is true, you know, because it seems like half of the people that know what's going on are saying that it is true or suggesting that it is true. And then you got somebody else that's basically saying that it's definitely not true. So it's like, it could go either way, right? As of right now, we're at 50-50. So for the sake of argument, for the sake of the topic and argument's sake, let's just say that it's something that might possibly happen. Now, first of all, as far as advanced movement goes, I think everybody can pretty much relax, and I'll tell you why. Because, well, it could still be an advanced Call of Duty game without specifically the exosuits, or the exosuits can be a lot different than what they were in Advanced Warfare. Now, in terms of what Advanced Warfare brought to the table, I certainly appreciated it. I mean, granted, there was a lot of factors that, I mean, there was definitely some genius on Sledgehammer Games' part in terms of what they presented to us with Advanced Warfare in terms of the movement, at least at first. I mean, it was definitely not a campy Call of Duty. But you know, skill-based matchmaking definitely, the fact that if you didn't have a scuff, or if you didn't play claw, or if you didn't have an elite controller, you were at a really big disadvantage in that game was also a big thing. And there weren't input options like we have today. It wasn't until Black Ops 3 until we had like things like stick and move and stuff like that. But as far as that's concerned, Advanced Warfare, I actually, like I said, had a stroke of genius. You had the modules to basically customize your score streaks. You had pick 13, so if you didn't want to use score streaks at all, you'd have extra points for your classes and yada yada yada. Okay, and I also thought, I might be in the minority here, I actually thought that the maps were actually, for the most part, were pretty solid in that game, and they complemented the movement very well. So, all right, so there are many different ways that they can present Advanced Warfare 2 to us, if it in fact is Advanced Warfare 2. Now, another thing that kind of came to mind was the fact that it's coming out in 2025. Now, for those of you guys that may have slightly forgotten, Black Ops 2 takes place in 2025. And I don't know, man, I would personally love it if they did a Black Ops 2 remaster. I think that would be the perfect time. It's the year 2025. Black Ops 2 took place in 2025. So it's like Black Ops 2 remaster. I mean, that's the time of, if you're going to do it, that's the time to do it. So I'm very, very curious about that. And I really am curious to see exactly in terms of what they're going to bring to the table as far as that's concerned. But on back to Advanced Warfare 2. Now, obviously, there's no such thing as there's, you know, they can completely do a different kind of, well, supply drops are pretty much gone. There's no loot crates and stuff like that. We have a battle pass system, and God knows what Microsoft is going to implement or whatnot, but whatever. But honestly, I think it's time to kind of go back to advanced movement, because skill-based matchmaking or no skill-based matchmaking, I can say that it definitely widens the skill gap as far as advanced movement is concerned. You know, because if you're going to have advanced movement and all these different options in terms of how you move and when you move and all that kind of stuff, and multitasking in terms of doing being in the air and taking somebody out, it involves a lot more skill, as well as being able to take somebody out in air at a certain altitude. So it involves more skill than not. So so I personally find it very, very interesting in terms of what they would offer to us if we did go back to advanced movement. And again, just because it's called Advanced Warfare 2 doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a cut and paste of what Advanced Warfare 1 was. And let's just say, for argument's sake, that it is. In theory, at least, right? At least in theory, I would, in theory, take that over the boots on the ground Call of Duties that we've been getting. The last boots on the ground Call of Duties, Call of Duty that we got, that was that was really good was Black Ops 4. Granted, I had my issues with that game as well, especially in the first month or two of launch. But other than that, when you look at it as a whole, it is it's it's definitely an arcade shooter, which is what Call of Duty is supposed to be, with a hint of more skill involved, so to speak, with the amount of bullets that it takes to kill in that game. I personally think 150 is fine. I think that's great. I think that was a good way for them to kind of widen the skill gap a little bit without adding in the advanced movement. I thought the game was pretty damn fast paced for a boots on the ground Call of Duty, probably the fastest paced ever. So I, for one, am not against the idea of an Advanced Warfare 2. Would I like to see a few changes implemented? Absolutely. Do I want a carbon copy of what we got in Advanced Warfare 1 and rinse and repeat and just call it 2 with just a couple of additions and omissions here and there? No, I want it to be a legit Advanced Warfare 2. Now, as far as the story is concerned with campaign, obviously it's going to be a sequel to Advanced Warfare, but it doesn't necessarily mean that gameplay has to be has to be a carbon copy of what we got with Advanced Warfare 1. So, so before some people start freaking out over the exosuits or whatever else that they're going to freak out over, there's really nothing to freak out about if you think about it. There's really nothing to freak out over, because Advanced Warfare 2 could potentially be at least a more fun Call of Duty, because when everybody's moving, it's a hell of a lot more fun. If you guys don't want movement, it's like, okay, well, you got your Battle Royale, and then obviously you've got your Call of Duty Modern Warfare the second, and then you got your Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. So there's something in there. I mean, and they're recent, so it's like you've got those. So it's like, I think it's time that the other side of the coin got theirs now. Because back in the day we had 3 years of advanced movement, and then we went back to boots on the ground. So it's like, yeah, give us a form of advanced movement. Give us something in between. Give us something that has the option for advanced movement, but not something that would necessarily kind of be game breaking or just too much of something a little too crazy. Because I think that's what a lot of people disliked about Advanced Warfare, was that the exosuits just gave way too much verticality, like way too fast, and it just got a little too crazy for a lot of people. I remember even hearing some of the pros complain about it. So from back in the day. So there's that as well. So, but when you look at it from an overall standpoint, I think it's time for the year 2025. Yeah, I think it's time for us to return to advanced movement. I particularly don't see why not. And again, it's always something that they could change. It's always something like, even when you look at Black Ops 2, that was futuristic, but in terms of gameplay, it was still the same old COD. But when you look at Black Ops 4, same thing, just a little bit faster, obviously, and then you've got your sliding everything in between. But it's like, I personally think they could do it. I think they could find a way to balance things out. I think I've even played with the idea back in the day when I was talking about Black Ops 4 back in the day, or excuse me, Advanced Warfare back in the day. It's like, or no, actually during Black Ops 4, I think it's like, well, if people like advanced movement, it's like, why don't you just give that as an option as a score streak or like that, as opposed to something that we all get from the start, just for shits and giggles. If the game at its base core is going to be a boots on the ground game, with some advanced movement stuff in there, like I don't know what they would add, but it's like, well, why don't you just make the crazy part of the exosuits as score streaks or something like that? Just an idea that I threw off the top of my head. I don't know how it would work, but it's like there's so many different ways they can do it. And the thing is, Call of Duty has enough history behind it and it's explored so many different directions in terms of advanced movement, boots on the ground, the past, the present, the future. It's like there's enough things that Call of Duty has come up with over the years to really like spawn new ideas from, honestly. So I think if Advanced Warfare 2 is going to be the game, and if that's going to be the title, I would say don't freak out until you see exactly what they offer, because the name of the title doesn't always necessarily suggest the exact same thing, and also vice versa in a sense, because it's like, if you look at Call of Duty Ghosts in Modern Warfare 2019, Modern Warfare 2019 was like the 2019 version of COD Ghosts. If COD Ghosts did this, it's like Modern Warfare 2019 like really did more of that. So, but we'll see what happens. I think it's very interesting. So what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section. Do you guys want to go back to boots on the ground? Do you guys want to go back to advanced movement? Do you want there to be something in between? Or do you just not care about Call of Duty anymore and you're just waiting for X Defiant and for SM2 or SM Squared? Let me know down in the comment section. I'm really curious to know. And I hope you enjoyed this gameplay. It was from a stream that I used as from a video a while back ago. It was me against a full man team, and we ended up winning. So I thought it was fun as hell. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.